Are my judges ready? Plastic is wonderful because it is durable, and plastic is terrible because it is durable. In any other circumstance, these two contradicting statements would invalidate each other. But plastic has many valuable uses that in turn make it a wonderful product. With that said, our attitude towards single-use plastic has created a material that is being produced too rapidly, has caused potentially irreversible effects to the environment, and can lead to health issues. Good evening, my name is Amber Headings, and tonight I would like to discuss with you the problems with plastic. Plastic did not start off as the synthetic material we have come to love. In fact, it originated as organic materials such as tortoiseshell and ivory. Obtaining these materials was difficult, expensive, and more times than not, the animal had to be killed to get them. Alexander Parks is accredited for creating the first chemically modified plastic. Although his invention was not a success, it did lead to the first fully synthetic plastic, which was made in 1907. At the start of World War II, plastic increased by 300%. 605 million pounds of plastic were created exclusively for the war. From 1950 to 2015, the production rate of plastic increased from 2 million metric tons to 380 million metric tons. That is roughly 300 pounds of plastic per person in the world. There are 5 major gyres in the ocean. A gyre is a group of currents that move in a circulatory pattern. The ocean is 40% of gyres, that is roughly 25% of the planet. The North Pacific Gyre is home to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch contains about 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic debris. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is not the only garbage patch in the ocean, but it is the largest. It is about the size of Texas and continues to grow by a rate of 9% per year. The garbage in the ocean doesn't just come from the shore. Every year, 10,000 shipping containers are lost at sea. In 1992, a shipping container carrying 28,000 rubber ducks was lost at sea. Curtis Abbas Meyer took interest in the ducks as he saw them to be a way to track the movements of the gyre. At the time, there was no official track record of how long it took for a gyre to make a cycle. Plastic is not just an aesthetic problem. It can actually change entire ecosystems. Plastic photodegrades, which means it doesn't fully degrade. Instead, exposure to the sun breaks it down into smaller and smaller pieces. In the ocean, this process is sped up due to the waves and other environmental factors. Tiny organisms latch onto the plastic and use it like rafts to travel to new ecosystems where they cause damage because they do not belong there. There was a study that proved corals are no longer mistaking plastic for food. In fact, they prefer it over their food source because a chemical additive in it is appealing to them. The mortality rate of marine animals that come in contact with plastic is greater than 50%. The ocean is just one of many things that can be harmed by plastic pollution. Underdeveloped countries who cannot afford trash services typically dump their garbage, including plastics, into the streets. The plastics clog the drainage systems and can emit gases such as methane into the air. Plastic pileups on beaches cause low tourism rate, and that can be devastating to coastal communities who rely mainly on tourism as a source of income. Chemical testing on the body is expensive and can be seen as inhumane. So many of the effects of plastic that is used in many of the effects of the chemicals used in plastic are unknown to the human body. but it is known that high BPA exposure can lead to heart disease, cancers, diabetes, and even miscarriages. People consume up to 11,000 pieces of plastic per year through contaminated fish. Scientists believe by the end of the century that number could increase to 780,000 pieces of plastic per year. For my product, I created a dress out of plastic bottles because it was something I hadn't seen before, and I kind of just wanted to see how it would turn out. I held a plastic collection through the elementary that lasted from November to February. In total, I collected around 4,000 bottles. I used technology to make my flyer that I handed out to all the elementary kids, and I also used it to sketch a design for my dress. I knew what I wanted to make, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. So I had to figure out how to turn a 2D sketch into a 3D sculpture. At this point, I decided to use chicken wire because I knew that it was something that I could manipulate into the shape I desired, but it would also be sturdy enough to hold my plastic. The major issues I faced with my product were adhesives, time, and acquiring enough materials. I tried roughly 6 different adhesives before I finally found one that worked for my product. With time, I had the bottom half of my dress and the shoulder covered when I decided that I really liked the way it looked, so I wanted to cover the entire face in the flowers, which meant I had to create hundreds more flowers, and I was getting a little pressed with time. I also ran out of the green plastic multiple times because it was the only plastic that would show up on my sculpture. So I had to try to find more of that plastic. In total, I spent about 100 hours on this product, and I had to make 500 plus flowers that each had to be cut, shaped, and placed by hand. I wanted to showcase plastic in a different lighting. I had hoped that I could show people that single-use plastic didn't have to just be single-use. Plastic has made society easier and safer in most ways, but if our attitude towards single-use plastic does not change, we could be faced with oceans without fish, plastic mountains, and plastic-induced illnesses. Thank you. Are there any questions?
What are you going to do with your sculpture?
I was hoping there was an art museum in St. Louis that had actually contacted me about it, but it doesn't travel well, so I can't send it there. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with it at the moment.
It's really neat.
Thank you.
Are we doing better with recycling of plastic?
Actually, there's a study that proves recycling plastics does not work because they do break up. They can't actually be recycled and used for anything else.
So, so what is BPA, first off? What does that stand for?
A long word that I can't.
Okay. So just so I get this right, it's something that's in the plastic.
It is a chemical additive that is used in plastic.
Okay. And so whenever we drink
Out of a water bottle,
out of a water bottle, then we are getting that BPA
we
stuff.
are getting BPA through that, and then also in like the plastic food containers,
Right.
there's BPA in those. So
Okay.
typically what you're looking for is a plastic that says it's BPA free.
Okay. Okay. So if plastic is bad, then what are we supposed to drink water with as we get in the car and go somewhere?
Well, I actually use a metal water bottle.
Oh. Okay.
What do you plan on doing next year?
I want to be a NICU nurse.
Say again.
NICU nurse?
So you're going to school then?
Yes.
Okay, I have one more question, I'm sorry. So I thought the, dress was just really neat. So what were okay, so you tried 5 types of glue
I
or
tried
adhesives?
E6000, 527, Crazy Glue, spray adhesive, a 2-part epoxy, and there's one more.
And which one finally worked for you?
None of those work. I used hot glue.
Oh, nice. Okay.
No more questions? All right, thank you.
Yeah.